Greetings to the world. Welcome to the Inside Podcast. I am your host, Wemba Bounce. The Inside Podcast is proudly powered by African Music Group and Runners Entertainment. Today, I am joined by my first guest, a brother of mine, a friend, an engineer by profession, and I like to believe he's an inventor. Yeah, so I'm joined by Sichi. Sichi, how are you, my brother?
I'm good. How you doing? How's everyone doing? Hope we're all doing fine.
Yeah. So today we're just going to cover a few topics. Just want to get an insight on what you think of the topics that we're going to cover, yeah? So the first topic that we're going to cover is a topic that is affecting all of us in a great way, and it's not a positive thing that is happening to us in Zambia especially, but I want you to get your insight on what do you think about the load shedding crisis in Zambia?
Okay, I can say for me, I'll start with like on a personal thing. This whole thing has just been it kills productivity. That's all I can say. Especially for some of us who spend most of your time on the laptop or your computer, that's where your work is. You're forced now to wait for when Zesco will give you power and have so much time that is wasted doing nothing. And I've seen with other people are falling into bad vices. This has also led into like spiking of different prices, So it's just affecting us very badly. And just recently here, you saw what happened. We did not have power for 3 days.
That affected us. How does power go for 3 days, But I also hear that in Rhodes Park, end of September, they didn't have power for 7 days.
Hey.
And that's a residential area. That's not like a combo, and that's Kumayaj,
Yeah. That must have been very bad.
Yeah.
You can think of how much relish went to waste. Bro. Because if you just think of how most of these things, especially with issues of like relish, people are now forced to buy relish every day, and that is quite expensive.
Because initially the Zambian culture has been you buy relish in advance and you just stock it up. Then you just wait for maybe a specific day in the next month when you're supposed to buy relish again. But buying relish every day is very expensive as it is, yeah?
Yeah.
So now, looking at, we have brought out what the problem is. What would you think alternative solutions to the problem that we're facing, the load shedding problem, would be?
Okay, so I would say we will have to find alternative power sources. And I've noticed so many people are actually opting to do that, solar panels, inverters, generators, but not all of us can afford that.
I was actually about to pitch in because, not everyone has got the source of income that can facilitate the comfortable buying of a solar panel. Last time I was checking, second-hand solar panels are going for like 3,000 all the way up to 5,000. So how do the masses manage to purchase solar energy alternatives? Like what do you think about that?
So I feel maybe what we can start with is our government needs to find ways of, like alternative power sources. Because if we look at that hydroelectric power station we have, that was built in the pre-colonial era.
Yeah.
So how have we been relying on something for such a long time without having any alternative sources? So I don't know, maybe the government should look at something like having so many solar farms or maybe isolating each province, I don't know. But individually, I would say we have to find like means of alternate power sources, but the cost upfront is very, very, very much.
Yeah.
So I don't know how we're going to survive.
Okay, but when you talk about alternative power solutions, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is solar the only alternative that we have? Because based on some research that I did, it came to my attention that there is also thermal power production. I don't know how it's proper. Like, I didn't do much research into it. Then there is that one that they use, for lack of a better term,
Oh, the turbines, the wind turbines. Yeah. That could be a good solution also. Yeah. I feel the way forward is combining these various things.
Huh?
Yeah. Maybe have a little bit of some panels. Because the sun is, have you seen how hot it is right now? And the days we have wind, you know how windy it gets. So I feel we should just find a way to like mix these things.
Because I also think that it's getting tedious by the day because they are supplying to everyone at once. I think it would be better if they isolated industrial area with a specific type of solution, a power solution. Then the households, so those guys are wholesalers. Those are wholesale clients, right? Then we are like the retail clients, right? So the household should have another source of like energy distribution or solution of some sort. Yeah. What do you think?
Well, that actually makes sense. Because if you see the amount of energy we consume compared to like the industrial areas, we do not really consume enough energy. Because what do we use energy for? Most households, it's just, the ordinary cooking. And most people are getting gas stoves, but not everyone has gas stoves. So it's just the cooking, ironing, TV here and there, phones. But when you look at the industrial sectors, these guys, their whole businesses rely on like massive power consumption. Yeah. So that's actually a brilliant idea of like isolating. Yeah. Because we can't be suffering.
It's not making sense, You see. Yeah. It's not making sense. Okay, so I think those suggestions are things that are doable. Hopefully the government can come across the Inside podcast and pick one or two ideas. Because at the end of the day, us member people, we say, imichi kula empanga. So there's obviously a lot of innovation that's coming from the youth. So I think it would just be right if they would take into consideration a few of the suggestions that we have put across, especially in regards to load shedding. So the other topic that I would like us to talk about is the cost of living in the country right now. What's your take on the cost of living right now in the country?
It is very difficult. It is difficult. And then considering some of us who just recently, finished school as a young man, trying to get on your feet, it's very difficult, because you've got bills to pay, you have to eat, you have to dress, you see. Because back in the day when I was young, I remember you could get so much with 100 kwacha. But currently right now, and if I'm not mistaken, 100 kwacha gets you, what? 1 kg sugar and some change? 2 kg sugar rather than some change.
Yeah, 1 kg. How much is 2 kg?
Isn't it like 75?
What? I've not bought sugar in a long time. 75?
That's like $75.
Yo, that's high.
We can also just think of how much mini meal is right now.
How much is it? 25?
Close to 300 kwacha.
300K? Yo. So what happened was when mini meal started going above the price of like 200, I actually stopped buying mini meal. I'm being for real. You know what? Because I figured, I've been eating nsima from the time I was an infant. And it has been affordable. And now it has become a luxury because of how expensive it is. So I took on other alternatives like rice. I'm a big fan of rice. Potatoes. Shit like that. But what do you think would be a solution? Because right now we are having a conversation to understand what the problems are and come up with alternative solutions to these problems. So what do you think the alternative solution to a high cost of living is?
Okay, so I feel there are many factors. One of them is the current load shedding we're facing. So as you've seen, so many businesses rely on like we said, massive consumption of energy to have their their products and services. So most of these are claiming they're adding extra for the costs they're incurring on transportation or the other alternative power sources they're using, because they have to cater for that. And then you can also think of other things. I feel even we're a country that has so much potential.
Yeah.
So we need to start getting our products out there instead of us heavily relying on, imports. We need to start focusing on exports.
Yeah.
What can we produce? We are some of the largest producers of copper, if I'm not mistaken. I'm really the third largest in the world.
Actually, we the largest producer of copper in the world, number one.
And yet we just export it as it is.
Yes.
Very raw.
Very raw. I think that's not a good idea, because it's apparently minerals have got, usually copper has got different other components which are other minerals within it in its raw form. So when it's extracted, they extract the copper, then they extract maybe 3 or 4 other ores which are minerals from the copper. So I strongly agree that we need to look into exporting. The problem is not us having the willingness to export. I think the problem is the government bodies that have been put in charge of doing that to facilitate that. Because individuals can't necessarily do that consistently and expect it to be productive.
No, that's actually very true. That's very true. And then I feel we should also now's the time to diversify. Quite all right, we are huge farmers, huge copper producers, but what more can we do? I feel we should not also just rely on the government, even us as youths. Let's find a way to play a part. Think of innovations, try to do something. We should not just leave it for the government, because at the end of the day, this is our country.
I agree. I totally agree. Okay. I totally agree. So I think those are great alternate solutions to that particular problem. Then we've got fuel prices, man. What's your take on fuel prices?
So on fuel prices, I wouldn't say I'm heavily affected, but I feel indirectly, because I do not own a car. I don't buy gas for a genset or anything. But with the increase in fuel prices, we've seen a spike in bus fares, taxi fares, and generally just almost everything. Because if you've got people who sell stuff let me give an example, eggs or any farm produce, they will tell you they've increased their prices because, the gas that they are buying, in order for them to get their stuff from, the place of production to a place of a marketplace. So I feel that is causing. That's why these topics we're speaking about are kind of intertwined. Yeah. See, that is affecting the cost. That is affecting the cost of living.
Yeah. Okay. So individually, I think it affects me because I buy fuel a lot. And I remember the first time I bought fuel, I think we used to buy 11 kwacha, man. If you put 50 kwacha, you've got 5 liters or something, But right now, 100 kwacha is 3 liters.
Bruh.
100 kwacha is 3 liters. And usually a liter covers up to like, depends on the terrain that you're using, but a liter covers up to like, being realistic, 5 kilometers.
And then that 5 kilometers with the traffic in Lusaka,
You see?
you're going to spend more fuel covering a lesser distance.
Yeah.
So,
Because of the fuel prices, I've been finding a lot of, not breakdowns, but a lot of vehicles that are parked like in the highway because of not having fuel, you know?
Yeah.
And just this past week, I think on Monday, I think I came across maybe three Mercedes Benz that were parked in the middle of the road because they didn't have fuel. So I think maybe the government should look into alternative solutions. And one alternative solution is, I remember we had a discussion yesterday about these hybrid vehicles. Yeah. I think that's better, but the problem is, how do we charge them?
See?
How do we charge them?
So the problems we're facing. Again, we come back to an issue of charging these EVs.
Okay, so there is something that I want to bring your attention to. So government officials went to the Eastern Province, and the Eastern Province is led by the Paramount Chief, Pezeni. You're aware of that, right? Yeah. So you know that he's a real stand-up guy, right? Did you know that about him?
To be honest, no.
Okay, so this is what happened. They went there with a proposal to build dams, dams that are going to help people in the rural areas have more like reservoirs of water, you know what I mean? Then that proposal started in 2021, and they went to talk about the proposal again. Then his response was, you guys always come here and you come with good ideas. So he was speaking in Chewa. So I'm going to just say it in English. You come with good ideas, but the problem is that you guys don't implement. You guys don't implement anything.
What talking?
Yeah. Then he gave an example. It's like, uza mwana, nza kupasa sweet. At the end of the day, mwana zaona, but that didn't work both. I'm going to pasa sweet man pa. So, in accordance to what the government officials went for, he said that he doesn't have anything like a statement for them to take to their superiors, because all he's ever heard from the government officials are just promises. What's your reaction on that, man?
Well, I would say if that's what he said, then why would he be lying? What does he have to gain if he was lying? I feel maybe it's because of what he's seen. Yeah, so. But the fact that they proposed in 2021 and nothing has been done, and we're at the end of 2024, says something, which I don't know, but it just says something.
Okay. No. Okay, so, the state of things and the way things are being run is not so good, but we have been conditioned to think that if we speak, we'll get prosecuted, So I think I wouldn't necessarily want to say more than what we've said, you know what I mean? Yeah.
Very neutral.
So I want to shed some light to something that's trending right now in Africa, in the African space. So there is this Bali, right? From Equatorial Guinea. You heard of him? He's bugging, bro. So this guy, I don't know what he does for a living, but he seems to be someone who's influential in a position of power where he can assist people to get good jobs, you know? And he looks like he's a straight man, like straight up, straightforward type of man.
Why do I feel there's a butt coming?
Yo, you have no idea, bro. So this nigga, man, this nigga fucked 400 different women and recorded all of them. And these are just not any women, bro. These are like ministers' wives in Equatorial Guinea. Like his young brother's wife, his uncle's pregnant wife. He fucked everybody. And he made content out of it. And it's trending like for real. What do you think about that shit?
This has got me by surprise.
You didn't expect that. I'm still in disbelief because I've not yet watched any video, but I'm told that there are a lot of videos.
Bro, 400.
Yeah.
He needs to have some order.
What do you mean?
He needs to have some order. Why are you going to sleep with 400 women?
Oh, by the way, he's married and he's got beautiful children.
See? That's what I'm saying. He needs to have some order.
But he was making videos. Like, he's the Diddy of Equatorial. He's the Diddy of Equatorial Guinea, bro.
Hitler.
The diddler. You know?
He needs to chill.
And you know, Equatorial Guinea is somewhere in West Africa, right? You don't have anything else to say about that, bad.
No. He needs to have some order. How are you going to sleep with so many women, you know? And that's like not having a code. You're sleeping with friends' wives, you know? Your brother's wife. Your brother's wife. Do you hear how ridiculous that sounds? And you have kids and are married. No. He needs to have some discipline.
Yeah.
Because the older generation, the people we try to emulate, you've seen.
Yeah.
There are some kids out there who are probably thinking that's very cool and they want to emulate the same thing.
You know?
So
It's sending the wrong message.
yeah, see? So he needs to have some odd big man.
Big man. Big man, you need to have some order, big man. Okay, so another thing is within the course of last week, former minister of Boma Lusambo was former minister of Lusaka, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Former minister of Lusaka, Boma Lusambo, was arrested. He was found hiding in a sailing boat. So he was arrested. I'm going to tell you why he was arrested, right? So I think somewhere 2019, or when they were in power, when PF was in power, Boma Lusambo attacked an NDC political party official and assaulted them. Yes? Then a case was opened against him, and the case was ruled over last week, I think. But it was ruled over in October. And the final judgment was made in Boma Lusambo's absence. He didn't attend the final judgment. And I stand to be corrected, but I think he was sentenced to 5 years with hard labor. So the court ordered, they gave what is called, what is this? Where you are summoned. In short, warandat uyu muntu nga mwamukumanya mumwika ero ati bayakubonde oba yamusanganishi. He was in the sealing boat. Yeah. Remember, Bowman is the same guy who said that 2 million is just money for shopping. Remember that flex, right?
Yeah.
What do you have to say about that guy, bro?
Firstly, why the ceiling?
What?
Why the ceiling? Of all places to hide.
How did he get there? Like, how did he get up there? Because he's not small, is he? So what do you think? What do you think? Do you think they are being unfair or justice was being served?
Okay, the thing is that I did not know about the case, so I do not know much about it to the extent I would make like a decision.
Yeah.
But why was he hiding?
Yeah. That's like you see the police and you start running Utawa-chan. So shit. Okay. So he's a third Patriotic Front official that has gone to jail this year. You know that, right? The first one was slapped with like 8 years. The second one was GBM, was slapped with 5 years. And it's him now. Okay. So what's your take? What's your take on real estate in Africa?
I'd say it's one of the continents with like the biggest potential because we have so much unused land. Even just here, have you seen how much land we have when you're just going to like a different province? That's unutilized.
Yeah, like it's a bush, man. But apparently people own that land. How?
They need to start building stuff there, at least. You know, stuff that would generate revenue, at least.
Okay.
Because why are you going to have land and not use it? Because I was told, like, I had a friend who came, had this back west here. I had these Chinese guys that when they came for the first time to Zambia, they were surprised with how much land we have.
For real?
That's unused.
They were surprised. They have a lot of used land where they're from. Oh. They just saw a forest. Oh. I think real estate has got a lot of potential in Africa, but I feel like people are unable to utilize the land or the forests because of capital. You know what I mean? Because, you know, Africa is like a third world continent, right?
Sadly, yes.
Yeah.
It's filled with so many developing countries.
Yeah.
Okay, I quite right. You can say capital, and then also I feel ideas. You know, so many people don't have ideas. You know, so many people have the goal of getting like land. They'll get the land, and then like what land. But what are you doing with like the land?